I'm happy to announce that our dream is well on its way to coming true because we just broke ground on a woven city site at the base of Mount Fuji.
Imagine a world where no boundaries exist when it comes to innovation. Cities rise from the ocean and deserts bloom into futuristic utopias. Japan's latest mega-project could redefine humanity's future. Stay tuned as we take a look at the world's top 20 costliest designs ever conceived and how they're shaping our world. Number 20. Woven City, $800 million. Imagine a sustainable city with fully automated cars that produce zero emissions and solar-powered buildings. Where your trash takes itself out, your fridge restocks automatically, and robots deliver your groceries. Welcome to Woven City, a living laboratory and Toyota's $800 million leap into the future. Before Toyota became one of the leading car manufacturers in the world, it was a loom manufacturer. Woven City is a homage to its roots. The idea is that threads of tradition and innovation come together to create a new way of life. This prototype city is under construction at the base of Japan's iconic Mount Fuji. Built on an area of 175 acres, this city will serve as an experimental hub with 2,000 residents. With futuristic technologies designed to reimagine how we live, move, and interact. The company will make use of robotics, artificial intelligence, and autonomous vehicles. One of the standout features of the city is the concept of 3 routes. The city's streets are divided into 3 layers. 1 lane for pedestrians, 1 for mobility vehicles or bikes, and 1 for driverless cars. This design was imagined keeping in mind the safety of people and also to ensure the smooth flow of traffic. The city is meticulously designed in an attempt to keep the carbon footprint minimal. Set to soft launch in 2025, Woven City could redefine urban living. Number 19. BART Silicon Valley Extension, $12.2 billion. Costing about $12.2 billion, the BART Silicon Valley Phase 2 extension is one of the most expensive transit projects taken to date anywhere in the United States. The project is designed to expand the Bay Area rapid transit system deeper into Santa Clara County. Phase 1 of the BART Silicon Valley expansion, which opened in 2020, added service to Milpitas and Berryessa. Phase 2 aims to extend the line to San Jose. It will include 4 new stations and a single-bore tunnel running beneath downtown San Jose. After years of planning and delays, construction officially began in mid-2024. First estimated to cost $4.4 billion and to be completed by 2026, delays caused a significant increase in costs. Current projections put the budget at approximately $12 billion, with completion expected by 2037. Increasing material and labor costs, supply chain issues, and the decision to go with a single-bore tunnel design have all contributed to the increased costs. The tunnel, dug out by a custom boring machine, is designed to minimize surface disruptions, but brings challenges and added costs. For commuters, the extension could save up to 30 minutes on a 50-mile trip compared to driving. Number 18. Mumbai-Ahmedabad Bullet Train, $15 billion. The Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail, better known as India's bullet train, is set to be one of the most expensive infrastructure projects, costing roughly $15 billion. This massive undertaking promises to transform rail travel in India. The 508-kilometer-long project will reduce the travel time between 2 of the major economic hubs of the country, Mumbai and Ahmedabad, to 2 hours in comparison to the current traveling time of 7 hours. These trains, with an operational speed of 320 kilometers per hour, would rank among the fastest in the world. Funding comes largely from a soft loan from Japan, with repayment set to span over 35 years. Indian and Japanese companies have partnered to bring this project to life. Some of the most famous contractors have been hired to oversee construction, but perhaps the most expensive and technologically complicated part of the project is the 7-kilometer undersea tunnel under Thane Creek. With a project cost this high, one might ask, why such a significant investment? This bullet train is going to have a long-term effect on the transportation infrastructure and the economy, transforming daily commutes for millions. Number 17. John F. Kennedy Airport Expansion, $19 billion. John F. Kennedy International Airport is one of the busiest airports in the world. Serving just over 55 million people in 2022 alone, this airport is perhaps the most popular route for foreigners to enter North American soil. The JFK Airport is now undergoing a major transformation. This $19 billion redevelopment is the largest airport overhaul in the nation. The redevelopment will focus on two terminals. Terminal 1, set to be JFK's largest terminal, and Terminal 6. The new Terminal 1, spanning 2.8 million square feet with 23 gates that will serve international flights, is said to replace the existing Terminals 1 and 2 and the vacant site of Terminal 3. Construction began in September 2022, and the terminal will open in phases, with the first one being operational by 2026. On the northern end of the airport, Terminal 6 is under construction. The $4.2 billion project began in February 2023 and will feature 10 gates. The first phase is set to open in 2026, with full completion by 2028. Once at the forefront of international flying, the airport had fallen behind due to the growing passenger demand and its aging infrastructure. But now, with more than 55 million passengers today and projections reaching 100 million by 2050, this transformation is a step in the right direction. Number 16. Great Man-Made River, $25 billion. Hidden beneath the sands of the Sahara lies one of the most ambitious engineering projects in the world. The Great Man-Made River is an extensive network of underground pipelines that brings fresh water from ancient aquifers deep in the Sahara to Libya's coastal cities, farms, and industries. Costing approximately $25 billion, it is the largest irrigation project in the world, and many have aptly described it as the eighth wonder of the world. The story began unexpectedly in the 1950s, during oil drilling in southeastern Libya. Explorers stumbled upon vast reservoirs of fossil water stored in the Nubian sandstone aquifer system. This was the start of a new plan to bring water to farms for agriculture. However, the government changed its mind and decided to divert this valuable water to the coast, where populations and industries were growing. Spanning over 4,000 kilometers, the Great Man-Made River project connects over 1,300 wells, supporting life and growth in a harsh desert climate. Phase 1 of the construction began in 1983 with a pipeline of 1,600 kilometers connecting some major cities of Libya, followed by Phase 2 in 1996, which connected the country's capital Tripoli. By 2009, Phase 3 added over 1,200 kilometers of pipeline. While this is a remarkable attempt to harness ancient resources for modern needs, there is a small problem. The Nubian sandstone aquifer system is a finite resource. With no natural recharge and without sustainable water management, Libya may soon run out of this water resource. Number 15. Kansai International Airport, $29 billion. An airport on an artificial island might sound like an idea for a sci-fi movie, but the Kansai International Airport in Japan is very much a reality. The airport construction took 20 years and was completed in 1994 in Osaka Bay. The construction of Kansai International Airport required an investment of $15 billion. The high cost was primarily due to its construction on an artificial island in Osaka Bay. The reason why an artificial island was constructed wasn't merely a decision to show off the engineering marvel, but rather a necessity because Japan's densely populated urban areas left little room for traditional airport expansion. However, engineering challenges emerged early on. While some sinking was anticipated, the island has sunk faster than initial projections. A lot of money has been spent on attempts to stabilize the island by raising seawalls and reinforcing foundations, yet projections suggest that it could reach sea level by 2056. Other than these costs, high operational expenses, such as high landing fees and utility costs, added to the high costs. A $20 billion construction debt with annual interest payments of $560 million further added to the finances, making it one of the costliest projects in the world. Number 14. International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, $25 billion. With an estimated cost of about $25 billion, the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor aims at using fusion energy technology. Initially conceived in the mid-1980s, It is a project designed to demonstrate that fusion power can be harnessed for sustainable energy production by trying to replicate the process that powers the sun. It involves the ionization of hydrogen into plasma in a giant vessel to produce more energy than it consumes. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor involves a collaboration of 35 countries. The project officially began in 2006 with a 10-year timeline. However, as of a recent report, the timeline has been extended. The delays are a result of numerous issues, including the late delivery of critical components and manufacturing defects in key parts. Replicating the fusion process that powers the sun requires advanced superconducting magnets, high-energy plasma heating systems, and precise control mechanisms, all of which require the best materials and skills, making it one of the most costly projects in the world. Number 13. Grand Paris Express, $48 billion. The Grand Paris Express is not only one of the biggest, but also one of the most expensive infrastructure projects undertaken in Europe, with an estimated total cost of around $48 billion. This enormous price tag shows the massive size of the project, with around 200 kilometers of new tracks, 68 new stations, and extensions of the existing lines. One of the major reasons it is so expensive is that construction will be carried out deep underground. Much of the Grand Paris Express network will be dug 35 meters beneath the city. That depth calls for specialized machinery, including massive tunnel boring machines. Environmental considerations further elevate the budget. These goals involve additional investments in eco-friendly materials, waste management, and low-carbon designs for stations and surrounding urban areas. Construction started in 2015 and is projected to continue through 2030, which requires sustained investment over a long period, which means a large portion of the cost is borne by taxpayers. Number 12. Kashagan Field, $50 billion. The Kashagan Field is one of the most costly oil projects in the world. Discovered in 2000 in the Caspian Sea, it was considered one of the largest oil finds of recent history, with up to 13 billion barrels of crude oil recoverable. As of 2012, the total development cost of the Kashagan Field was estimated at $50 billion, but a few other sources have cited the costs to be more than $100 billion. The field is located in a region with severe conditions, including sea ice during the winter, extreme temperature fluctuations, and high levels of hydrogen sulfide in the oil, making drilling and production extremely difficult and costly. The presence of hydrogen sulfide makes the reservoir gas hazardous to handle, needing special materials such as Inconel-cladded steel for pipelines. The involvement of multiple international companies, alongside the Kazakh government's strategic interests, has created a complex legal and regulatory environment. These have contributed to delays and financial complications. Moreover, in March 2014, following a gas leak, Kazakhstan's government levied a fine of $735 million on the operators. Despite the delays and high costs, by 2019, production was about 400,000 barrels per day, making it one of Kazakhstan's key sources of oil. Number 11. China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, $62 billion. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is a massive infrastructure project costing approximately $62 billion, making it one of the most expensive initiatives in the world. It is a flagship program under China's Belt and Road Initiative. This project aimed to transform the infrastructure of Pakistan and shorten trade routes for China, reducing the transportation distance for oil and goods from 12,000 kilometers to just 2,400 kilometers, saving billions in energy transportation costs annually. Projects under this umbrella include the transportation network, which is being extended with modern highways, railways and motorways connecting major cities, providing easy access to trade routes. The Karakoram Highway, also described as the eighth wonder of the world, is just one of the many trade routes established under the MEGAPROJECT. The energy projects aim to alleviate Pakistan's chronic energy shortages and increase the country's power generation. These energy projects include power plants, solar farms, and wind energy installations. Moreover, the project will provide for the development of Gwadar city into a major global shipping hub with the development of a port and an international airport, which are also being funded by China. To date, almost 40 projects have been completed under this mega project. Number 10. HonuShikoku, $75 billion. The HonuShikoku Bridge project is one of the most expensive infrastructure projects connecting the islands of Honshu and Shikoku across the inland sea of Japan, greatly reducing the traveling time between the two islands. Before this project, the only way from one island to the other was through a ferry. With an estimated cost of about $75 billion, the project consists of 3 major expressways, each with its unique bridge systems. The Akashi Kaikyo Bridge, completed in 1998, is the longest suspension bridge in the world. This bridge, along with 2 other bridges, forms part of the Kobe-Awaji-Naruto Expressway. The Seto-Chuo Expressway route consists of 6 major bridges. The road contains rail lanes for trains including the Seto-Ohashi line and is engineered to accommodate the Japanese bullet train services in the future. Finally, the Nisheto Expressway was completed in 1999, featuring 9 bridges, among which the most impressive one is the Kurushima Kaikyo Bridge. It is the only route that allows pedestrians and bicyclists to cross. Together, these bridges form 3 major routes or expressways which have helped bridge the distance between the 2 islands. Number 9. Dubailand, $76 billion. Announced in 2003, Dubailand is a $76 billion complex stretching 278 square kilometers, twice the size of Walt Disney World. Conceived as a world tourism landmark, the design is composed of 6 themed zones, mega and sub-projects. Themed around Arabian folklore, it promised many thrilling rides, retail outlets, and luxury hotels. Plans also featured a Marvel superheroes park and even a giant Ferris wheel called the Great Dubai Wheel. Unfortunately, many of these projects were scratched during the 2007 financial crisis. Construction resumed in 2013, and some elements of the original vision have come to life. Dubailand now features the Dubai Miracle Garden, the world's largest natural flower garden, and the Dubai Butterfly Garden. Additionally, attractions like Legoland Dubai and Motion Gate Dubai are also a part of this project. While not fully complete yet, the huge sum of money invested in the project sure seems promising. Number 8. California High-Speed Rail, $77 billion. The California High-Speed Rail is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in the United States. Phase 1 will link San Francisco and Los Angeles in under 3 hours, with trains exceeding 200 miles per hour. The system will eventually cover 800 miles, reaching Sacramento and San Diego, with up to 24 stations. Conceived in the 90s and ratified by voters in 2008, it was supposed to cut travel times below 3 hours, besides reducing car dependency and greenhouse gas emissions. However, the journey has been anything but smooth. Originally estimated at $33 billion, the costs have increased to about $77 billion. These increased costs are due to many setbacks including land acquisition, concerns about the environment, etc. Despite the setbacks, some progress has been made on the Phase 1 route. The project has also created more than several jobs and is assumed to have an operational segment by the early 2030s. Number 7. Xiongan New Area, $95 billion. China's $95 billion Xiongan New Area aims to develop a model of sustainable urbanization and high-tech innovation. From a concept to a modern city, China's Xiongan New Area in Hebei Province has rapidly taken shape since its establishment in 2017. Construction is underway with over 4,000 buildings, either completed or under construction. The city has planted over 30,000 hectares of forests, increasing its forest coverage rate to 35% from just 11% before construction. A city brain management system, supported by IoT platforms, enhances urban services such as monitoring the water usage of elderly residents for safety and calculating the best routes for ambulances based on real-time data. The company has developed an intelligent transportation system and built 153 kilometers of digital roads to explore applications including autonomous driving. There has also been a special focus on preparing public spaces and amenities with districts designed around a 15-minute living circle, offering easy access to schools, health centers, and supermarkets. The city is believed to be constructed by 2035, with full completion by the middle of the 21st century. If China can successfully pull off this sustainable city, we might be looking at a new way of living. Number 6. The Great Mosque, $100 billion. The Great Mosque of Mecca, popularly known as the Masjid al-Haram, is the most expensive building ever built in the world. With an estimated cost of $100 billion, the mosque spans over a massive area. Situated in Saudi Arabia, the mosque sees a huge number of Muslim pilgrims every year from around the world. Over the centuries, the mosque has expanded several times, with the most recent expansion initiated in 2015 under King Salman bin Abdulaziz. The aim was to increase its capacity further, ultimately allowing it to host nearly 2 million worshippers on a site measuring 1.5 million square meters. Despite varying reports on the total cost, with some estimates placing the expansion at around $62 billion, the Great Mosque's extensive modifications have made it the costliest building globally. These expansions involve complex engineering and infrastructure improvements to support the massive influx of pilgrims. In addition to the mosque itself, the surrounding developments include the nearby Abraj Al Bayt complex, which houses a hotel and the world's largest clock. The initial cost of the mosque, combined with expansions every few years, place its cost well above $100 billion. Number 5. Japan's Chuo Shinkansen, $100 billion. The Chuo Shinkansen project is one of the most expensive infrastructure undertakings in Japan's history, with a total estimated cost of over $100 billion. It is a high-speed maglev train line currently under construction in Japan, connecting the major cities of Tokyo, Nagoya, and eventually Osaka. There are several reasons for this high cost, starting with the state-of-the-art technology it uses. The superconducting maglev system, which the train relies on, is far more advanced and expensive to develop and maintain compared to traditional high-speed rail systems like the Shinkansen. Maglev trains use magnets for levitation and propulsion. Furthermore, a lot of sections of the Chuo Shinkansen will be routed underground, including difficult tunnel routes through the Japanese Alps. The construction of tunnels through such mountainous ranges also contributes greatly to raising costs, as advanced engineering methodologies and long construction periods have to be used. But it is also this underground route that will minimize environmental impact and avoid disruption to existing infrastructure. The Chuo Shinkansen is expected to be completed in phases. The first section, connecting Tokyo and Nagoya, is scheduled to open in 2027. This will reduce travel time between the two cities to just about 40 minutes. The full route, extending to Osaka, is planned to be completed by 2037. Number 4. Silk City, Kuwait, $132 billion. Kuwait's Madinat AlHhara, or Silk City, is an ambitious mega-development project that is set over an area of 250 square kilometers in Subiya. This futuristic city is supposed to cost a whopping $132 billion and will be completed over 25 years in due course. The city is envisioned to be an international center for trade, business, and tourism, while at the same time easing the pressure on the infrastructure of Kuwait City, creating countless new jobs and attracting foreign investments. While the Kuwaiti government is the primary investor and backer, China has also played a significant role. The two countries signed a memorandum of understanding to collaborate on the development of the Silk City's free economic zone. The city is intended to act as a trade hub between the Gulf, Central Asia, and Europe, which aligns with China's Belt and Road Initiative. Madinat AlHhara will be made up of 4 main villages, each with a different function. The financial village will serve as the business hub, complete with international commerce centers and conference facilities. The leisure village will feature hotels, resorts, and a world-class sports academy. The cultural village will be the heart of the city, hosting an educational district, government buildings, and diplomatic areas. Ecological village, a restricted area for wildlife and greenery, will introduce sustainability and ecological awareness. But it seems like with a lengthy list of objectives to be achieved, it might be a little while before we get to see this vision turned into reality. Number 3. International Space Station, $150 billion. The International Space Station is a habitable artificial satellite in low Earth orbit. It is collaboratively managed by countries like the USA, Russia, Japan, Canada, and the European Space Agency. This massive $150 billion project serves as both a space laboratory and an observatory for space exploration and research. The ISS is among the most expensive human-made structures ever created. Its annual operational budget is approximately $3 to $4 billion. It spans 109 meters end to end, roughly the size of a football field. The station accommodates 7 sleeping quarters, 2 bathrooms, a gym, and the iconic window that overlooks the Earth. Its construction began with the launch of the Russian module Zarya in November '98, and the station was fully assembled over 13 years. The space station to date has enabled over 2,500 experiments led by 3,600 researchers. The ISS was only supposed to be operational until 2024, but the partners are in discussion over an extension to 2030. Its fate beyond 2030 remains undetermined, where the original plan was to crash it into the Pacific Ocean, but some experts believe it might be worthwhile to use the parts in something else. Number 2. Interstate Highway System, $618 billion. The Interstate Highway System is one of the largest and most transformative infrastructure projects in US history. Costing about $618 billion adjusted for inflation, it is a network of highways in the United States designed for long-distance travel, economic development, and national defense. It consists of freeways or expressways that connect major cities, regions, and states across the country. The project took shape with the 1954 Federal Aid Highway Act that looked at the costs and requirements of roads, followed by the establishment of the Highway Trust Fund 2 years later. The revenue was generated by fuel taxes to provide dedicated financing for the interstate system. Construction of the Interstate Highway System began in 1956 and initially aimed to cover 37,000 miles. The network eventually expanded to approximately 49,000 miles. It handles about 25% of US road traffic despite comprising only 1% of the total road network. Many sections are over 50 years old, requiring urgent reconstruction and modernization. So while the Interstate Highway System did wonders for the travel experience, it sure cost a fortune. Number 1. NEOM, $1.5 trillion. NEOM is a mega-project in northwestern Saudi Arabia that will revolutionize the region, impressively forecasted to be worth over $1.5 trillion. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched the project in 2017. It is based on a 26,500 square kilometers region located near the Red Sea, bordering Egypt and Jordan. The idea of the project is to build a futuristic urban area that consists of a floating industrial complex, a global trade hub, ultra-luxury resorts, and an eco-friendly city called The Line. The Line is a 170-kilometer-long city with no cars, streets, or carbon emissions, powered completely by renewable sources of energy. It will feature high-tech living spaces with all essential services like schools, healthcare, and shopping within a 5-minute walking distance. Sindalah is a luxury island resort and one of the first completed regions in NEOM. It will feature upscale hotels, restaurants, and a marina, attracting tourists with its serene and exclusive environment. Other areas would include an industrial hub, airport, and skiing resort. The revolutionary city will offer sustainable living for up to 9 million residents, is one of the costliest and most futuristic projects in the world, and is still at least several years away from completion. Projects like this remind us that human potential is unlimited, from redefining urban life to pioneering new frontiers of science and sustainability. Let us know which mega project you think will change life as we know it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you enjoyed our video.